What is happening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of our meowta build. So we have some goodies going on the meowta today. We also have some stuff that we need to fix. So first and foremost, one of the things I need to do is I actually need to pull off this taillight panel again. This retainer that I put here, this captive stud, I had put the taillight panel on before it had completely dried, and unfortunately this side did pop off. So I'm just going to take it off, clean up the area, scuff it back down, and basically just adhere it back on and let it cure overnight. But before we do that stuff, I've got a couple parts that I'm very excited to get installed on this. So let's start with one of the biggest parts that we have. So what we're looking at here is Limitless Autofab's rear bash bar with their jack point. This thing is very well made. It looks great, welds look good, powder coat looks good, and the shipping time was pretty fast, so I'm very excited about that. I did buy this. This is not a sponsored product or anything. I'm just excited to get it on the car. I do also like that it had these little end caps. So I know that these are just for shipping, but I'm thinking about just taping them on. I like how they look. Would be cool if they offered an option in the future with a capped end, but you know, really excited to get this on. Now they did also supply some hardware, which is really cool, because I know the hardware on ours is pretty crusty and definitely need to get replaced. So we're gonna get this thing put on, and we're also gonna be doing a bumper cut today. So that'll be really cool, so we can kind of show it off a little bit and make sure that everybody knows we have a rear jack point. Got to get those hot boy points when you can. Now, somebody else was asking me in the comments, I think on Instagram, what I use to get rid of the hyper flash. There's a lot of options out there, really there is. I ended up going with these J87s. Now, these are really cool. I'll drop a link for them down in the comments somewhere. They come with some double-sided tape. Right now I just have them kind of zip tied right here, and I did use the supplied wiring stuff that they gave you, but eventually we'll come in here and solder these in. I just wanted to make sure they were going to work well, and you know, so far so good, no complaints. In the front I just have some cheaper ones, but we'll be switching them out to these J87s for sure. Now, one of the smaller things we're going to be installing today are these lights. As you guys remember, our turn signals are white because our factory housings, I had accidentally ordered white ones, but it was fine. Our factory housings were yellow. Now that we have clear housings, we're definitely going to need these. So this will be something we do when we go ahead and pull this all off and get that side fixed. Now, when we're doing the repair on the side here, we're also going to be laying the seal that's going to go along the backside here. And I'll show you guys when it comes down to that, but it's basically just some closed cell neoprene. It's going to lay in there, give us a nice good seal, and make sure we have no water that comes into our trunk. And now for the part that I'm most excited to install. These are some F1 style mirrors. I will drop a link down below in a pinned comment, but as most of you know in the meowta community for the NAs, or as I found out, there's a very select options that we have for mirrors, right? So if you want to run a set of mirrors like this, you totally can, but I found that you had to get an adapter, and you know, the adapter itself was more expensive than some of the mirrors, and you could only run it with a certain kind of mirror, and it was just a whole deal. So I did a little bit of research, and I found an old forum where somebody had installed almost these exact mirrors on their meowta. No drilling required, bolts right up to your factory mounting locations for your mirror, and they look super clean. Now, I did test fit one, and I am very excited with how it looks. These mirrors also have an option where you could fold them in right here, which is really cool. They do a blue tint on the glass, which I'm not super hyped about, but I do think that they're going to be a lot better looking than our mirrors here. Now, one of the main reasons I want to replace these is I get this little rattle here all the time on both sides. And when it first happened to me, I thought something was bad, something was falling apart, or who knows, right? Turns out it was those, and I just am over it. So even though the mirrors are super cute, we're going to swap them out for these F1 style mirrors. Now, these mirrors were not super expensive, and they did come with a bunch of cool stuff, like if you have a vehicle that mounts traditionally in that little window pocket that we have on our meowtas, you have those. It did come with some hardware. the thing I'm most excited about though is that they do just bolt right on. So why don't we go ahead and get this passenger side mirror off, and I'll show you guys just how easy it is to put these things on. All right, so once you get the old mirror off, you'll see that there's a little rubber gasket here almost. Now yours might be hard. If yours is soft, well, they make a pill for that, but you can pull this off. If not, you can just use like a gasket maker sheet or something. I just use the old one, cut it down, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it right here, and then when I go to tighten this down, we'll have a little bit of cushion between the mirror and the body. Eventually I'll come back through and I'll make it out of just a thin rubber gasket sheet probably, or just a gasket maker sheet, and that'll just clean it up. But for now, this will do just fine. I'm also going to go ahead and use this fender dress-up hardware from Password JDM that I use on literally everything. It actually is the same thread, which is great, so it'll look really good. You could also go out and use some Allen head hardware if you want, or whatever you'd like. Use your old ones, that's fine too. Mine are just a little crusty, and I don't really feel like using them, so I'm going to go ahead and get this bolted on, show you guys what it looks like. And just like that, the new mirror is installed. You guys can see, bolts right up, no weird overhang. I mean, this thing is almost perfect for what we needed. So, got it on here. We have plenty of adjustability up and down. Now, all the way down is actually perfectly level with the meowta, so I'm sure we can adjust it from here. And then, you know, we can tilt it, turn it, and then we can fold it in. Pretty cool. So if we're parked somewhere, we just fold our mirrors in so no one hits them, come back out, man, that looks great. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side really quick, and I'll show you guys what it looks like from the front with the hood down, so you can see how far they stick out. But I really do like these. They are a little bit taller than the factory mirror, but honestly, I think that they look great. So let me go ahead and do that other side, and I'll show you what they look like. All right, guys, so I got them both on, and this is what they look like from the front. Might be kind of hard to see, but man, they look great. They don't stick out crazy far. I really do think they add a lot to this meowta, and I think it'll look really cool, especially when we start doing some other body work. So this is what they look like. Hopefully, if you guys want to get a set of these mirrors, check the pinned comment down below. Go check them out. Pretty cheap. They bolt up really well. Like I said, they're nice and firm. I mean, you got to really adjust them to adjust them. And I like that, because the worst thing is a floppy mirror, right? We've all been there. They rattle, they shake, they vibrate, they go out of alignment all the time. So this is definitely a good option. We'll see how long they last, but I do think that they are worth checking out, especially if you're not wanting to spend hundreds of dollars to run essentially the same mirror, just in carbon fiber. So what we're going to do now that we got that all done, we're going to go ahead, pull this rear GV panel off, and get this piece repaired. We're also going to pull the bumper off. So once I get all that stuff done, I'll show you guys what we need to take off to install that rear bash bar. Alrighty, so once you get your tail lights out and your tail light panel and your bumper off, mine was just held on with zip ties, but there's going to be some hardware like over here, some more hardware on the other side, and then it should just come off. You'll also have some bolts that run along the top here. I didn't have any of that. I just had my rear bumper zip tied on temporarily. Once you get all that off, you're going to see your factory crash support here. You're going to have two bolts right here. You're going to have a little sneaky boy right under here. It's going to go that way. So you're going to want to take those 3 off on this side, 3 off on this side, and then this will come out. And then once we're done with that, there's actually a mounting plate back here that we're going to have to take off in order to get that thing installed. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off this crash brace right here, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So once you have your rear crash brace off, if you do find that you have one like I did here that just did not want to cooperate, don't worry, they're just thin little plastic things. You can just rip it right off. Be cautious though of your wiring that runs through there if you do still have side markers. So now that this is off, what we're going to be doing is unbolting these right here. We're going to get these off. You can see that there's some plates here and here. Those hardware or on the other side, we have to take those nuts off, and then we'll be able to pop these off. You could do this as one piece, but I just wanted to do it 2 separate pieces to show you guys what it looks like when you're going to remove it. So let's get these off and get this kind of wiped down and get ready to get that thing installed. So with the bash bar on, this thing was super easy to install. So a couple little things that I did when I was installing it that might help you in the future. What I did was I just loosely put the bolts in, and then I brought my jack in, and I just kind of applied a little bit of pressure just to make sure it was all the way up. And then I went through and snugged everything down, pulled the jack away, tightened them all down. Now all I did was I torqued these down pretty much as tight as I could by hand with just these 2 wrenches. So we're probably realistically somewhere in the 50-ish pound-foot range. But this thing looks really cool. I love how it turned out. I did put their sticker right there. It did come blank because they do have this cool logo that they tack in place, but since we're probably going to run a bumper on here, I didn't want to cover up their logo, so I thought I'd drop it down there. But really do love how this thing turned out. Looks great. Super easy to install. Definitely worth it. So now that that's done, what I am going to do is pull the wiring out of here, probably clean it up a bit, and then I'm just going to kind of zip tie it, or maybe I'll even go ahead and try to find a way to mount them under here. But I need to go ahead and run that wiring so we can hook up our side marker lights. Now if we were doing a bumper delete, we could just get rid of that altogether, but since we are going to keep this bumper for now, I want to go ahead and retain those. So when we do our bumper cut, what I'm thinking is most people just cut straight across, which is cool. I mean, that definitely works. Now I do have these little mud flap attachment plates that go there. I might cut those off later, so for now we're not going to go straight across. But what I think we are going to do is we're going to kind of come up here, and we're just going to cut right underneath this little it's almost like just like a little bend right here that kind of tucks under. We're just going to cut all that off. We're going to come right along here, and we're just going to chop it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this kind of taped out really quick and get it cut, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's back on the Miata. Alright, so I got the rear bumper on, and I did get it cut, so let's kind of swoosh down here like this. So I didn't go too crazy. You can see I just kind of brought it up right here, brought it all the way across, but you can still see a little bit of the jack point right there on that Limitless Fab rear bash bar. That's kind of cool. And you can see a little bit more of the exhaust, which I think is nice. It's a pretty long tip on there, and I definitely feel like it needs to be showcased a little bit more, so I really do like how that looks. Well, let's go over to the other side. I got the garage all closed. It is snowing outside, and definitely I'm not trying to be out there. Well, it looks pretty cool. Nice cut. Fairly straight for the most part. I mean, I did the best I could. I did just use a cutoff wheel. I just put some masking tape down and drew the line I wanted, but this one's looking like, so it did come up a little higher over here by the exhaust. Normally there's like a little bit that'll like drop down kind of in this area, and I just kind of went a little bit further than that, brought it out a little bit, same as the other side, so you can kind of see a little bit more of that exhaust. But really do like how it turned out. I think it looks pretty cool. Now that that's all done, I'm waiting. We're gonna have to wait overnight. For you guys it'll be just a second, but for me it will be like 12 hours. I went ahead and got this epoxied. Basically what I did was I put a bunch underneath of it, squished it down in place where it was before. Luckily there was like a little ridge, which was nice, but I did kind of clean off the surface area, scuff it down to make sure we have a good mechanical bond, and then I scuffed down the tab, push it back down on there, and then I let that kind of set up, and then I went ahead and just glazed over the whole top of it with another coat of that epoxy resin. This other one is doing just fine, so we're gonna let this cure overnight, come back out here, put the taillight panel on, and hopefully we'll be good to go. I did also go ahead and change out those LEDs with the amber ones, so I'll show you guys what those look like tomorrow when we get this all buttoned up. I might flip the Miata around so we get a little bit more light on the backside, but for now, this is what we're looking at. So I really love how this bash bar looks, and the cool part is like my bumper's just zip tied again, but I mean I have no movement. I mean, little shimmy side to side, but way quieter than it was before. It used to like rattle and shake, so definitely happy about that. So I'm gonna go inside and chill for the rest of the day, and then I will catch you guys tomorrow when I get back out here and we get that GV taillight panel on, get these buttoned up, show you guys what the lights look like, maybe pull this thing outside, maybe do some snow donuts. I don't know, we'll see. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, so it's the next day. I came out, I warmed the shop up a little bit. It was really cold in here, and I made sure that the adhesive on this tab, the epoxy, was totally cured. Got it all bolted in, and now you can see we've got no weird gap, no tape there. That's awesome, so I'm really stoked about that. Taillight panel fits great, and honestly my bumper fitment has never been better. So this is still just zip tied on, but look how close it is. When I had the other bumper support here, there was probably a good ½ inch gap on there. So let me show you guys what the hazards look like now that we have our amber LEDs in. Now with those amber LEDs, they look so much better. I'm gonna turn the running lights on too really quick so you guys can see what it looks like. Oh yeah, big fan of that. Definitely better than the white. The white before, it's not like anything was wrong with having it, it just was annoying. So I'm really happy that we were able to get that all buttoned up. Taillight panel looks great, bumper looks great, bumper cut looks cool. Super excited about that. Plenty of room under there for the diffuser. Eventually what I'd like to do is a nice center exit exhaust that'll go right through our diffuser. So we will see how we get that set up. Love how the mirrors turned out. Everything came out great. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We did do a little bit of work on this thing. I know it might have been all over the place, but really happy with how everything turned out. Side mirrors look great. All the stuff we did back here looks great. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, get out there, get those projects done, and until the next one, peace.